I look at the 2012 election, I look at the model of 2010. I don't remember if Bob mentioned, but in 2009 and 10, I was the chairman of the Republican Governors Association. And we were very involved. We went from 27 Republican governors, from 22 Republican governors to 29, a gain of 7 governors in that period of time. But I was going to say, Bob, you know, psychiatrists say that it's bad to stifle the urge to applaud. It's not bad for you, it's bad for me. So I appreciate your perseverance. We went from 22 governors to 29. We picked up 63 seats in the House. We made major gains in the Senate. We took over many legislative bodies like the Iowa House. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the election of 2010 was the most policy-driven election of my lifetime. This was an election that was overwhelmingly, and in some places almost exclusively, about public policy. Why did that matter? Because the American people, not just Republicans, not just Tea Party activists, but the American people across the board understood that the Obama policies and those of the Pelosi-Reed Congress were bad for economic growth and job creation. When we had the election in 2008, everybody thought give hope a chance meant to focus, a chance to focus on economic growth and job creation. Yet instead, what were the policies of this administration? Higher taxes. President Obama asked for the largest tax increase in American history. A tax increase, an income tax increase that would fall overwhelmingly on small businesses, the principal job creators in the American economy. Not just in Iowa, not just in Mississippi. Small business creates most of the jobs in our country, and yet the President asked for and fought for all the way to and through the November 2010 election. He fought for that tax increase. He only threw in the towel when not a single Republican senator would vote for his tax increase during the lame duck session. And you know, the news media, some of them are here tonight. We love them. We welcome them. You know what the liberal media elite said after that? Said Obama's moving to the middle. Obama's talking about business. Obama agreed to this deal. Sort of reminded me of what President Reagan used to say. He said the first play in the Democrat playbook was fake up the middle and run around left end. Because as soon as Congress came back and the President made his State of the Union address, he said again he wanted that largest tax increase in American history. He called for it again. And then we saw his budget a few days later, $1.3 trillion in tax increases. Now how can you have private sector economic growth and job creation when the government's talking about taking another $1.3 trillion out of the private economy? The second thing that the Obama people did that killed jobs is all this excessive spending. Now they talk like more government spending means more jobs. Well, if you're for government growth, this is a good recipe for government growth. But you can look at the data for 30 years. Look at every month back to 1980 at government spending as a percentage of gross domestic product compared to employment in the United States. And when government spending goes up, employment goes down. When government spending goes down, employment goes up. And it is almost literally an exact inverse relationship. But that's not hard for you to understand. How can the economy grow? How can your businesses prosper when government is sucking up all the money? I mean, the government can't spend itself rich any more than you can spend yourself rich. So what was the President's answer to that? In his budget, it called for increased spending, $3.8 trillion. It calls for a higher deficit, $1.6 trillion. Now think about that. Think about if you ran your business like that. You took in 2.2, spent 3.8, had a deficit of 1.6. I can tell you what your business would be like. You could write a book about it. It'd start at chapter 11. More taxes, more spending. What's their health care policy? I've been involved in the health care fight since Hillary Care. I don't think anybody here thought after more than 20 years of the battle of whether or not to have a government-run health care system, which Obamacare is, that Obamacare would drive up the cost of health care, that it would make health insurance more expensive. But that's what the government itself tells us. Now, how are you, or any entrepreneur or small business person, going to hire more people when you don't even know what your obligations or your costs are concerning your employees' health insurance? Is this kind of consistent? Every policy of the administration is anti-economic growth, makes it harder to hire people. The Obama energy policy, well, we can describe the Obama energy policy in one sentence. Their policy is to drive up the cost of energy so Americans will use less of it. Now, why would an administration have such a policy? Because it's environmental policy. It's what they think is the way to less pollution. And I'll tell you what, when the economy gets as bad as it will, if Obama gets his way on energy policy, there will be less pollution because we'll be in a deep, deep recession.